Dean, well done. How do you feel, matey?
All right, I'm relieved. I probably hit the ball the worst of everybody today, so I was very lucky. Very few putts.
Major champion.
Yes, I can't win anything else. I'm going to win the major. Yeah, I'm very relieved. I haven't really come close to winning any tournament, let alone a major. So it was quite an experience to get through. Long slog in the day, so very happy. It's quite fun. I think it's best not to play the course, and you don't know where all the crap is. And you hear the places where it's actually got good.
You want me to speak this time?
You go, Kazi.
Okay.
A very, very sad weekend that the news came through that our big friend and Duckhook legend, Dean Shermanator Sherman, has unfortunately passed and is moved on to another world. Flicky, very sad news, boys.
Yeah, as I must say, it's a trauma tracker, thanks for that. But yeah, it's sad news. It was we were actually playing golf, me and Martin, Werner and Gerard, and the news broke when Katie's daughter SMS'd me. So yeah, that was it's not a lacquer one, I must be honest.
Not at all, but a true gentleman, as Louis Jensen says. Thank you for watching, Louis. I do want to check that everybody can be heard. They should be. Donnie, welcome to the show. Keep it short in case they can't hear you.
Hello, Ducks. Hope it's been a good day.
And Dylan, thank you for joining us, Coach. Also sad news.
Yeah, thanks, Maz. Unfortunately, under the news of losing the Shermanator, it would be a big loss to all of our lives, I think. And yeah, sad news, but nice to see so many tributes, especially on the group from the guys. And obviously, he touched a lot of people, a lot of lives, and that's all you can hope for in your time on this earth.
Hansi, it was very special on our group. Many guys had a memorial drink for him and put some beautiful messages on. It is a sad day.
Yeah, goeienaand, good evening to Mela Sabona Kunjani Mez. So yeah, no, definitely was a very sad day and came as quite a shock to me, especially. Like I said on the group, even though I didn't know Dean too much, there's a couple of games I played with him. And as Louis said, just a true gentleman.
Yes, true gentleman. So the show is dedicated to you and your family, Mr. Sherman. So here we go. Let's have some fun and lighten it up as we talk about golf, Duckhook golf. Not only just Duckhook golf. We've got Dylan here for a reason. It's because we want to know some more insights, especially from him. It's been a while since Dylan's been on. And the topic is how to practice. Right? Many of us rock up, don't practice at all, don't take a practice swing at the golf course. Some go to a driving range and mess up a whole bucket of balls and say, oh, I'm not hitting it very well, and then off they go. But there is method to the madness, as they say. So we'll get to that. But there's a lot of other things we'll also touch on. Trivia, as always. And then we've got Krugersdorp to look forward to. So we'll leave Krugersdorp towards the end, and let's get into the discussion. So I open up the chat line for everybody who's watching. So please put your comments, ask your questions, and let's get as much out of Coach as possible in the show. What can I tell you? Well, we are in May, so let's just remind you what's coming up in May, because Sunday is going to be Krugersdorp for Sunday Series 1, and then we move to Reimsig for the Thursday Series on the 11th of May, and then we've got a bit of a break because there must be the Challenge 500s on the 19th, on the Friday. I'll show you that one now. And then Sunday Series 2 at Huddle Park on the 28th of May. I can tell you that I played there, when was it? Monday, and the tee boxes were all at the back, and it's a very, very interesting golf course. So we actually asked them, so I saw the golf director, and I said, make it a bit challenging for us and leave the tee boxes at the back because the greens are all nice, and then let's see if we don't get a 9 under par like Leon Oosthuizen did with his first victory, or series victory, should we say. And to remind you that there's also the Challenge 500 coming up on the 19th of May at Killarney. Members are paying 1,200 and 1,300. This includes carts. So, yes, get your entries in. If you need to give me your name up front, do that as well. And then we know how many people we have. And then, as always, the prizes are based on the amount of entries. Right. As always, we're going to start the show. Louis says 20th is Camille Doring. Yes. So if you want to go play the Limpopo series, that is the day after the Challenge 500. So there's plenty golf coming up in May. I like to start the show with a question. Here it is, everybody. We'll start with our panel. This forms part of which club's logo? Just say if you know it or not.
Yes, I know.
One knows. Flicky, do you know?
I can take a guess, but I think I'd rather not. I'm not
Do you know?
Yeah, no, it's like I'm trying to figure out now what, who, where now.
Unless, yeah, I might be mistaken, but I'm sure I know.
Okay, Dylan, you should know.
Hard no. Hard no.
Hard no. Okay. So we've got 1 out of the 4 that might know. So the guys on the chat line, if you have any idea what logo this could come from, let me know what you think. Okay. Riddle Bridwick is the first one on. It says the Wanderers. I can tell you that it's not the Wanderers. The Wanderers has got some chariots in it, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Okay. Right.
Does that say 1813, man? Maybe there's a clue in the date.
I think it was
1913.
1913.
So it's a long time
Is
ago.
it a Joburg course, Maz?
It's not a Pretoria course, so it is a Joburg, but it's a Gauteng course. How about that? It's the Gauteng course.
Well, we know it's not in Pretoria. You just spelled that. So.
Okay. Before I get to some other things, we're going to get straight into Dylan. Dylan, how do we practice? You've given me a list of things, so I'm going to put it up, and then you can quickly run through the list, and then we'll go point by point by point. And as you can see, Dylan hasn't gone home yet. So he could do illustrations for us. Let's put him nice and big. He could do illustrations for us at the back there if he wants to. So here we go. Dylan, this is your points on how to practice. Starting with number 1, always have a plan.
Do you want me to comment on each one, Maddie? So,
Yep.
Look, basically, you can divide this into the first 3 and the next 3. So the first 3 is sort of more the mental side of things.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you have thought about golf yourself and you know this is what you want to do, either execution-wise or with the coach or whatever, or maybe you've watched a YouTube video, but have a plan in terms of what you're going to work on, what area of your game needs to be worked on, how much time you've got, how many balls you can hit in that time. Obviously, we're talking, also the difference between range practice, short game practice, and putting practice. So while you're driving to the range or driving to your course where you practice at, hopefully before that, but if not, that's worst case scenario. Okay, then have a plan and go, right, I'm going to be here for 1 hour. This is what I'm going to do. This is the things I'm going to focus on. All right. Then number 2, what tends to happen is we have these really good intentions. So let's just use the range as an example here. But we have these really good intentions. Maybe, we saw Rory McIlroy on the weekend. We think, if I could sort of drop the club there and do this, whatever. And you have these good intentions. And then as you start practicing, it doesn't really go the way that you want it to go. And you hit a couple of scrappy shots in between, whatever. And then what tends to happen is we tend to add on. So then we tend, maybe I'll try this and maybe I'll tweak my left hand here and my shoulder there and my ball position. And before you know it, it's just a mess. And, 2 things happen there. The first thing is we sort of distracted about what we actually wanted to do in the beginning. And then worse than that, and this is where a lot of, sort of amateur golfers issues arise. Once you're on the range and you're hitting, and maybe on the chipping green and even on the putting green, and you're hitting repetitive shots, what tends to happen is you tend to start reacting to your target. And if you're not disciplined in what you're doing fundamentally, what you're trying to improve or change or whatever the case may be, you're now going to start reacting to the target that you've set yourself. And obviously, if you're not setting up correctly or you have a technical issue that you were hoping to work on, and instead of fixing that, you're reacting to your target, all you're doing is teaching yourself bad habits.
Okay.
So that is not going to translate to consistent better golf, and obviously it's not going to translate on the golf course to every different club and every different angle.
Let me stop you
So
there.
that's why you mustn't get distracted in what your goal was and what you're trying to do.
I'm gonna
Okay,
stop
and
you
then that
there.
again brings us to the third. Sorry, Maz, you carry on.
I want to just to bring the other guys in there. To Donnie, when you practice, what is your focus? To give an example of what Dylan's saying.
Yeah, the thing is, Maz, obviously it's like, Dill hit it on the head. It's like I don't try to work on too many things, considering the last few months that did creep in. But the thing is, at the end of the day, it's like I'm a stats person, so I like to see my stats, so I can see where I'm doing and where I'm throwing shots away. So when I'm practice, it's more on trying to work on that side. So it's like a good example, if my short game is off the week and I'm not hitting greens enough from 100 meters in, it's like I'll tend to spend some time into on the simulator and actually hit a couple of shots 100 meters in, try and get that target focused. So yeah, it all depends on, like I said, all depends what I'm trying to work on as well. I'm not trying to work on too many things, but also where I'm struggling in my game.
Fricky, what do you get distracted with?
Me get distracted with?
When it comes to practice, say you go to the driving range, you get distracted by the beer, by the ladies, if there are any, or...
No, look, I don't see the practice or the driving range anymore. I've given up on that. But if I do go to that site, it's probably the beer. That's more of a place for me at the stage. But yeah, I mean, distraction, obviously, if you hit not making contact, for me, it is mostly the contact. Obviously, Dylan has given me some swing lessons, but for me, mostly, if I can have a sweet contact on a club face, I'm golden. So as soon as I don't hit it properly, I get distracted with, now I need to swing this side, and as coach said, then it gets messy. So to me, that's it. If I can just get to the practicing side, it would be great.
So then that's when Fricky starts getting gremlins.
Yeah, absolutely.
I understand 100% what you're saying, Coach. When things aren't going your way, and the target that you're talking about, then all of a sudden you're trying to adjust for the target, and then suddenly your swing is gone. So, very good point.
Still, one thing is like I might be jumping the queue or not, but I think we had a small chat the one time as well. I know I had this chat with John Dixon as well, is that if you look at your tour pros, when they practice, it's not just about just going and hitting golf balls just for the sake of hitting golf balls. If you look at one of the tour pros hitting on the range, it's almost like they do their setup as what they would do on the golf course as well. So they try to get that routine flowing into their practice as well. I think it's a good idea, when the guys do that, because it actually helps that whole in the round scenario to get that pressure, so almost like also trying to focus on more target line as well. When you're practicing, and I say like target line, so like let's say you're hitting driver, give yourself a target line on the range, that's your right side fairway, left side fairway, and then basically from there do the setup as you would almost do on the golf course. I think that's crucial, for guys to almost practice that way of trying to do the same routine as what they would do on the golf course.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. I think if Maz brought up that list again, you'd see that number 6 is exactly that. Here we go. There it is. Finish with your target practice and your routine practice. Also, Donnie, obviously you have a lot of history and you're a great golfer, and you also referencing John Dixon and you're referencing tour players. They fundamentally are fantastic golfers. What we're trying to say here is we've got amateurs who might say, listen, I need more distance, or I need to get rid of my fade, or whatever the case may be. So what they need to do is they need to look and find out technically and fundamentally what they need to fix. All right. And what I'm saying is we're going to work through that a little bit through your session. And then once you get to the end of your session, then you go, okay, well, I've decided that my swing plane is going to be flatter, or my club face is going to be more close, whatever they're working on. And then they will then finish their session now going, okay, cool, I've got Duckhook on Thursday, I've got Duckhook on Sunday. How am I going to take this practice that I've been doing that feels good? How am I going to now take it to the first tee box and then throughout that round that I'm going to play? And that is when they will then get into their routine practice and their target practice. They would visualize a fairway, go through their practice swings and their setup, etc., etc., etc. But for tour players and yourself as well included in that, Donnie, fundamentally you don't have a lot to work on. So for you, arguably it's a bit easier. You can rock up, warm up, feel where the club face is, do a bit of target and routine practice, and you're good to go. Someone who's trying to move their handicap from a 14 to an 8, has a lot more work to do.
Take us through warm-up and functional, Dylan. I'm interested to see what your definition of functional is.
Cool. So, what we're saying there is, again, it obviously ties in there to point number 3. So on your way to the range, either your coach or yourself or you and YouTube or whatever the case may be, you've decided what you're going to work on. And the warm-up must be a functional warm-up. So go there and do a couple of stretches, whatever it is, loosen up your back and your hamstrings, whatever. But then you've got to warm up functionally. So if you've decided, let's just use that example that I just used there now with Donnie. If you've decided that you're going to flatten your swing plane a little bit and you're going to close your club face a little bit. So those are your 2 things you've decided on as an example. Then in your functional warm-up, you're going to do things to promote that move, to feel that move. Okay, so whether it be just standing over the golf ball, whether it be standing next to your bag, whether it be with stretching bands, whether it be with a medicine ball, whatever it is, you're going to do something functionally that's going to make you feel whatever you're trying to feel with the swing plane. Maybe it's your right elbow, maybe it's your spine angle, whatever the case may be. And then you're going to do something with your left wrist. You're going to try and fiddle with the club face a little bit. So part of your warm-up is actually feeling those things, those moves you're trying to make without hitting golf balls. So you don't go straight into hitting golf balls and going, okay, cool, I'm just going to swing flat and close the club face. It's never going to happen. So you go slowly in your warm-up. This is what I'm trying to feel. These are the little movements that I want to incorporate into my golf swing. And that comes into slow, deliberate, functional movements, as we call them.
Nice. There's one more point there. Half shots and wedges to find balance and synchronization and create feel. I think that also goes into with functional. It
does a little bit, but then your half shots are then there to now go, okay, with those feelings, what does my new balance feel like? Where's the golf club? Where's the middle of the golf club? Where's my low point? Am I striking it okay? So still warming up, even though you've got those functional things that you've loosened up. Now with those things, just a little sort of, maybe you hit a pitching wedge. Let's say you hit a pitching wedge 130 meters. Pull your pitching wedge and you hit them like 75, 80 meters. But my balance is good. I feel where the middle of the golf club is with those new moves, whatever. Again, if you're trying to change something, you can't expect to do it at 90 to 95% of speed immediately.
100%.
It's not going to happen straight away. And if you do try and do that, you're definitely not going to hit the golf ball at the middle of the face because all your body movements and your timing is all different.
Coach, just to ask you another question from that side. So you hit it on the head there. It's like I know it from also experience that if you do changes, it doesn't happen. You get a feeling for it and you get that odd good ones coming out and then there's still a few bad shots. But to explain to the guys or the Ducks, if you do a swing change, let's say a takeaway swing change, how long would you say does it take for that change to become natural before the guys don't have to worry about that anymore?
That's a good question.
I'm gonna say if your golf swing feels natural, you're probably doing something wrong. I'm gonna start with that. Okay. It's the most unnatural sport and the most unnatural set of movements that we can ever try to achieve as a human being. But I do get what you're saying, right? I think it's very individual. So again, I think if you're really disciplined and you do a lot of functional work away from hitting the golf ball. So what I tend to do with my students is I try not to change swings as much as I can, but rather understand better what you're trying to do. If I do a swing change, it's really for someone who's saying to me, it's something dramatic, and I believe in it, and I really want to do it. Everybody's different, but the best example I can give you is Tiger Woods made a swing change from Butch Harmon to Hank Haney. Obviously, we're talking at very high speeds and at very high levels, but we're also talking about a guy who was the best golfer in the world, and probably had as good proprioception and feel and understanding of the movements of the golf swing for 20 years, maybe longer. Unlimited budget, unlimited time, coaches, watching him day in, day out. And we know he practiced up to 10, 12 hours a day. And it took him almost 2 years to make a swing change.
Sure.
Okay.
Tactic.
So I'm not saying be scared and be put off a swing change. Okay. What I'm saying is understand what you're trying to do. And when you decide with yourself and maybe with your coach or is it with me, whatever, we're going to make a swing change, then understand what is my new performance rate? What is my new measure of success? My new measure of success for the first 2 months is, did I perform that action correctly? Not, was it a good golf shot?
Yeah. So, Coach, can I ask this question? Sorry, man. So I decided to team up with Gerard this year, and apparently you made a swing change to him, and now I have to wait another 2 years now for him to actually get right now.
Look, I think it's a good point. I mean, I think the margins are there, right? So, when you are a 20 handicap and you're doing something really fundamentally wrong, often a small change can lead to a 5-stroke gain. When you're a scratch or a 2 handicap or something like that, and you want to fundamentally change everything, then it's obviously much harder. I'm just trying to make a point in terms of, I don't like making swing changes. I much rather prefer that the guys have a better understanding of what they're trying to do with the golf club, and then they will let the swing change by themselves. But B, if you do decide to do it, that it takes a lot of hard work and patience. But I would say, roughly speaking, the average person, probably 2 months of hard work and you will get better results. Okay, but the swing won't quite be what you think it is yet. I think that's the point I'm trying to make.
I find it amazing. It's such a small thing, but like you said, it's such high tempo, such a small thing can take so long.
That's the difference.
I've got some questions. Donnie, it's not the Donnie show. Let me get some of the other people.
Okay, sorry.
Yes. Vickers Albert says, question for coach, a swing thought before hitting the ball. Is this a good idea or bad idea? I found my best golf is when I don't really think too much and when expectation is lowest. Get it?
Yeah. So super interesting. Like, I think, and this is what's so beautiful about this game, I think everybody plays the game differently. And you've got to practice, first of all, how you want to play, and then sort of play with that. And then after, maybe a few months, then decide, okay, this is not working, I'm going to try a different way. So everyone plays the game a little bit differently. The big interesting thing to me was Ricky Fowler. So, I always thought that Ricky Fowler was quite a natural golfer, kind of free-flowing, not really too technical. But hearing him sort of be more open with the media and stuff in the last couple of years, he said that, for a lot of his time on tour, he had 5 swing thoughts at a time.
Hey.
To me, that is hectic, right? It's just so hectic. So that's more of an example of the other extreme. I would say you need to have one thought, whether it's a swing thought or a feel of what you're trying to do with the golf club is a different thing. If you're trying to sort of release the club hard or just shallow it out because you've got a dodgy lie, or you're trying to get a bit trappy to keep it under the wind, that to me is not necessarily a swing thought. That's just a good golf thought in the shot you're trying to hit. I would say you've got to have some thought and direction in what you're trying to do. You can't just stand there and swing sort of wildly for the bleachers and just hope for some good results. But what I would say is practice either one. So say, okay, cool, I'm going to have one swing thought, and I'm gonna only have that swing thought for 18 holes. And then if you practice that, do it that way. And if that doesn't work, then go, okay, cool. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and have no swing thoughts. I'm going to go into the bubble, and I'm just going to react to my visualization. And then I would say commit to that for 2 months and see how that goes.
Yeah.
And you've got to try and find the way that you play your best golf. There is no one correct answer. That much I can tell you.
I'm going to use myself as an example. Like if I overthink the feeling of the golf swing, where the club needs to be, where the hips need to be, and then come down, and then so I'm now focusing on the golf swing, I struggle more to be consistent. But if I have a starting point and I focus more on hitting the ball with getting through it with my hands, so that I tend to play better, because in my head and in the way I operate, if that is my thing that I'm focusing on is hitting the ball and getting my hands through it, it's easier for me to do that than try and get my body to do the right thing, because it's almost like I forget to use my hands if I'm just on the swing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
You know, and the next person you talk to will be the opposite way around. As the next person you talk to will be, you know, their body works really well. If they focus on their hands, they get too handsy, and then obviously get a bit sloppy in their swing. And again, you know, that's what's so wonderful about this game, is that, you know, we have such different ways and speeds and angles of swinging the golf club, that we've got to find what's best for us, and we've got to find what suits and matches our body the best.
Hansi isn't frozen. Let me just say that. It's with us. He's just listening intently. Hansi, I've got some. I'm going to add some extra things here for you, because you were wondering. I'm sure you want to know what type of drills you can do. So I found these on the net.
Coming to drills, but well, by the 1 or 2 times where I do go out to the range, I'm visualizing, for argument's sake, playing the first 9 at Krugersdorp, and then using hole by hole. Then, for argument's sake, we'll hit the driver. The second shot is this one. Then I'm going to say 150 meters, and then I need to hit a 7-iron. Then obviously you don't do the putting. Then carry on the second hole, third hole.
Yeah, I like
just
that.
Not to take driver all the time and just go ahead and hit driver for 20 shots, and then hit the 7-iron for 20 shots. And
well, Hansi, I can tell you, my first graphic says exactly that. No, is this not the right? No, this is not the one. So it is there, but here's a practical. Let me know what you think. Dill, take one club, get creative with your target, hit a 7-iron, pick a target that is 150, 140, then like different distances, so you can hit, to get to understand that golf club. Agree? Something you can do?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I think a lot of this is also to do with synchronization. So, you know, if you learn how to max out with a 7-iron, what is my 100% swing, where I'm swinging every sinew as hard as I can, versus, you know, when I'm taking a bit off it. And then you might actually realize, hold on a second, you know, when I swing at about 90, I still hit it far, but everything is so much easier and more balanced.
Yes.
You know, so I really, really love that type of feel in terms of working out your synchronization.
This is something that Tiger Woods, we know, likes to do, is the different ball flights with the same club. Try hit the low one, a high one. It's left to right, right to left, which is draw or fade. This is also a good way to really understand your swing and control your club.
Yeah, I like a bit of good. We're talking about players that are good players with good fundamentals. I would stick, for the average golfer, I'd stick with high and low, because that can sort of figure out your sort of swing play and angle of attack, ball position. You know, there's some people that they hit fades, and obviously they hate to fade maybe, but it's their best shot. And if you tell them now to go out there and practice hitting right to lefts, you know, they might spend 2.5 hours there, and they end up snapping 4 clubs because they're so frustrated because they can't hit a draw. And then they go home and then they watch YouTube videos on how to hit a draw, and before you know it, they've completely screwed their swing up. So you've got to be a little bit careful in terms of that. I would say rather stick to your natural ball flight as much as you can, because ball flights are very misunderstood. But certainly playing with high and low, I'm a big fan of. And certainly the previous caption of playing with your max yardages and your soft yardages, I'm also a big fan of that.
This is the one I wanted to show you, Hansi, the simulation. I like to do this as well if I'm going to play a golf course. I say, okay, right, this is the first hole. I can take driver. Normally, when I hit drive, I'll have a 7-iron left, hit the 7-iron, and just trying to get into a routine where every time that I hit it, I hit a good shot. So if I have a 4-iron in, I hit a good shot. If I don't get it right, then I hit another one of those shots until I get it right. What do you think of this one?
Oh, this is great, especially building up to a tournament or anything like that. Visualization, putting yourself in that moment is such a big thing, and then going through your full routine. Also, I find I used to do a lot of this when I practiced. Also, I find that you start to figure out your mistakes a bit easier. So, especially from the tee shots. So you visualize, maybe let's talk about the first hole there at Krugersdorp. On the range, I might say, okay, cool. I'm feeling good. I'm going to try and hit a big cutting drive around the corner. And then you pull it off, and you think, okay, cool. I've got a little flicky wedge in there, and then you get on that tee box.
Yeah. You
get on that tee box, and you go, hold on a second. There's absolutely no way that I can hit the shot. Yeah. It's completely the wrong shot. And then you start to figure out, okay, hold on a second. I've been making mistakes in terms of where my target is, what the correct club is, all that type of stuff. So, yeah, definitely a big fan of that.
And then, obviously, it's not just sitting on the driving range. There's chipping, trying to be consistent. There's putting. There's a lot of drills where you have the different distances from different angles, and you have to putt until you get in. And if you miss it, then you start again, etc., etc. Donnie, anything to add before we move on to Krugersdorp?
Yeah, no, I do think, it's like for me, the best way that most golfers can cut their handicaps down is to just focus a little bit more on the short game. I think a lot of guys are so set in by just hitting drivers because, and I do think some of the club manufacturers sort of imprinted it that if you hit a long drive, you hit a shorter iron in and you've got more control. But, if you look at your top pros, all of them do miss greens. The only big difference is they will basically almost 95% up and down it from anywhere around the greens. And I think where it can come in also, and Bill can also testify to this, but if you can work more on 120 meters in, you can take a few shots off your game quite easily within a couple of weeks.
Yes, 100%.
Now, I also got to agree with Donnie there because even if I chat to my two brothers down in the Cape, and both of them is close to about a scratch, and they even tell me the big difference between their game and my game, like Donnie said, is from 100 meters in, where they don't three-putt as often, and or they try and get their short game chips and putts under 36 shots.
Yeah, Vickers makes a good point. If you're a high handicapper, the quickest way to bring a handicap down is to improve your short game, and that's 100%. Because instead of getting fives, you're suddenly making fours, because you're eradicating the extra putt if you're chipping it close. I think the last thing I just want to touch on, from a Duckhook perspective, we don't always have time to practice, but if you want to take it, I don't actually know how to say this. I think if you decide, let's use Edwin Scholes, Fricky, for an example. He decided at the beginning of the year he's going to practice, and it paid off because he had a great start to the year. He's right up there in one of the series and in the player of the season, and just that got him into momentum, and he really was shooting great scores. Another example I'll use is Ronnie Bolherter. When he won the series, he was dedicated. He wanted to win it, and he was in the driving range 4 times a week, and it showed because of the consistency, whether what he was practicing or not. But it just showed, if you want to improve, you have to practice.
Absolutely.
Simple as that. You can't just rock up and expect miracles.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about that high and low drill as well. Is you're going to hit your 7-iron, 150 every time, but now you're under a tree and you want to use your 7-iron to punch out. You need to know more or less what distances you're going to be able to get from that shot.
Yeah. I am the king of playing out of the trees because I'm always in the trees. I'll beat anyone from out of the trees. Hitting low 4-irons with a cut. Choose me. Pick me. Okay, cool. So let's quickly, I'm going to give you the answer to that first question that I gave you. The question was, what did this fall part of? This logo. Here it comes.
Krugersdorp.
There it is. And the answer is, have a look.
I still say I think it's Krugersdorp.
Krugersdorp. There we are. I think the blue gave it away.
Frikkie.
So there was a couple of
What?
guys.
Why did you?
I can take a guess, but I normally am incorrect. So I should have
Okay.
guessed.
There was a couple of guys who said Krugersdorp. Thank you for the correct. I think Ian said Krugersdorp, and there's one or two, but it's quite far up the chat. So I'm not going to go all the way there. All right, Krugersdorp. Sunday series. Let's take that away. Sunday series 1. This is what we're looking forward to on Sunday. I'm sure the course is going to be immaculate. I was going through the flyovers because I got most of them. So if you want to see a specific hole, let me know. And it is. I would classify this as a proper, in inverted commas, championship course because it's got some great holes, long holes, tough holes, easy holes. Peter Zak goes into Sunday Series 1 leading on 110 points. He's got a 3-shot cushion to Stefan Enrit on 107. Sorry, did I say 110? Then Stefan on 107, tied with Werner on 107. Ian is there on 106, only 1 point back. Gerard is on 105, 104, 103, 103, 102, 102. So not much in it after the 4 rounds. Lots and lots to play for. Yes, some quick trivia. Yes, who's that?
Yeah, so just go back to that screenshot.
Yeah.
Just want to let the guys know that I think out of this 10 guys here, Dylan, you would probably know obviously best, but I mean, I know 2, maybe 3 guys that's currently practicing with you. That's in the top 10.
Good question.
Werner and Ian, definitely. I'm sure Gerard is also there. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Peter and Zach, not recently, but in the past. Yeah, so representing a few there, yes.
That's good.
Yeah. So the point that I'm trying to make is these guys are dedicated to practice. I mean, I've spoken to Ian, I've spoken to Werner as an example. I mean, they talk very good, very, very good things about Dylan, for instance. And these are the guys that's in the top 10.
Yes. If you want lessons, try and squeeze it in. Dylan's a very busy man. He's full up all the time. I think he needs 2 of him.
He works till 8 o'clock. I mean, today's the example, eh?
Here's a question for you from Sunday Series 1. See if anybody has any idea. How many points have been scored in Sunday Series 1? Now, this is taking every individual person. Like if I shot 36 points, Frikkie shot 37 points, Donnie shot 21 points, Hansi shot 40 points. Etc. How many points do you think has been scored in the events in Sunday Series 1? Give me guesses. Go, go, go.
For this season only.
This season only. Gee, how much time do you think I have?
How many events?
4.
Okay, 4 events, 100 players.
You can try. I want to see who gets closest. Rudolph says 5890. That's a very good guess. 5,890. Go, Frikkie. Give me a guess.
Man, I would say about 1,500.
You are hopeless.
I'm going
8.5.
Gerald says
6,750.
Dylan 6,750. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Ian says 8,000. Vanna Lewowski says, you see now I can see who's watching the show because they're all putting numbers down here. Vanna says 6,750. Gerald says 9,081. Donnie, go.
I think 1,320.
That's it, Donnie. Yes. He's also helpless.
Dude, hopeless. Donnie, hopeless. Hansi, did you give me a guess?
I was going to say 8,750.
8,750. Yo, I can't remember offhand exactly. I'm going to put the graphic in now, and then we'll see. Leon says, Brian, 101. You got to work it out, boys. Paul Ricketts is probably closer, 2,758. Because if there's 80 in a field and they're all scoring 30 points, it's already over 1,000. That's one event. Yo, hopeless. Here we go. 8,704 points. Parkview, 2,590.
Oh,
Machali's 1,938. Services, 1,909. This also depends on the field size. Dainfin, 2,182. So, yeah, Paul's pretty close, but somebody did say 8,000. Ian Holzhau's on 8,000. I think Rudolph, no.
I'm sure there was an 8,750 somewhere.
I heard an 8,750 as well.
Who's it? Anyone? No.
Go up.
No, it was just my 8,750, that's all.
8,750. Oh, but that's not bad. Jeez, you're right there. That's the best guess. Okay, now my next question is, if you put all the series events together from this year, how many points? Throwing it out
That's
there.
my calculator.
Throwing it out there. Go, go, go. We've got 2 minutes. Gooi.
26,300.
80,000. 80,000.
80.
25,000.
That's better. That's better. Let's go. It's a bit less than 25,000.
Oh boy.
We'll just go with
Here it is.
22 odd.
22 odd. Here it is. Here it is. It's just a number, I think. 22,000. How do you know this stuff? 22,006 points so far.
Who leaked this info to Hansi?
I don't know. I'm actually looking at my screen to see if he can see the answer, but he can't. So he's just making very educated, good guesses here.
He's got a calculator there, man.
Sure. Otherwise, he's another one with the stats in the back of his head. Info, Krugersdorp. Well, this is some interesting info that we go into. South African ranked course 76 in the country, national ranking. In 1983, the course routing changed after parts of the property was lost to the R28 highway, which now borders the course. I don't even remember this. Does anybody know about this?
We were a bit too young.
Yeah, 3 years old. I have not a clue. Didn't even know what golf was. First appearance on the Sunday series. That is actually surprising to me, but it is. We normally play it on Thursday. 64, if this is still current, by Rowan de Smit, and the Big Easy Tour is the course record. I would have thought that maybe it would be lower than 64, to be honest. But it just shows you how difficult it is. What are the pins, Frikkie?
Yeah, gooi hom. Okay, so we've got the par 3, the 6th. I think that's the signature hole. Lovely, lovely hole, that one. That's sponsored by Sixon. We've got the par 3, 14th. Like a long one, I think. Hole for 8 is the sponsor. And then par 4, 18th. Closest in 2. I think Donnie would probably want to drive this one. I think the closest that I've seen him come there was about 10 meters. I can't remember that he's driven that.
That's why I've chosen
yeah.
Because
Wasn't a dam, if I'm correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You might have to, as we were saying with the practice, Donnie, not hit your drive 100%. Just hit it 95% and you'll be short of the dam. Easy. Let's not forget that the 4 Ball Alliance prize for Sunday Series 1 is a round of golf at Killarney, proudly sponsored by Killarney. And please, guys, if you know that you're in contention to win, just stick around so I can give you your vouchers. Because if you run away and then I get a WhatsApp saying, how do I get my voucher? I'm going to say, well, unless you're coming to me, you're not getting it because I'm not going to run after you. I've had somebody who's been harassing me. I want my voucher. And I'm like, well, come get it. Because if you can't stay 5 minutes, why is it my problem? If you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's the same with some of the golf balls that 5th and 4th place, they leave. So I'm giving it to somebody else. If you can't stay, then I'm sorry. I'm starting to hoard things, and that's not what I'm here for. Let's have a look at the...
Can I add something quickly there, mate?
Yes, yeah, let me take this out. Yes, go.
I just want to give a quick shout out to one of our ducks there, Jason, who obviously took over at Killarney. And what a flipping great job he's doing over there.
Yeah.
The golf course, I was there about a month ago, and the golf course is in the best condition that I've seen it in. But also there's a lot of promotional work out there, a lot of social media stuff. I think that Killarney name, that Killarney brand, is getting back up to what it used to be.
Yep.
And I just want to give Jace a shout out for all the hard work that he's put in there. And obviously he's a duck, and we've got to support and give that shout out to our ducks any opportunity that we can.
I'm going to clip this out and I'm going to send it to him personally, and then he'll be very happy. The thing with Jason, Jason's also very clued up with marketing, in my opinion. So he knows, he has that one up compared to maybe some other golf ops people, is that he knows how to take his product and market it better. Whereas some of the
fair, but you still got to go out there and do it. And he's one of us, and he's proving that it can be done. And obviously, sponsoring that prize there just reminded me of that, and what a great job he's doing there.
All right, let's have a look at the tees so long. There's the first tee starting at 11:24, going up until 12:20. 3 match play games. I try to even them out on both sides. Frikkie, Gerard, you're taking on Ricky and Paul Ricketts.
Yes.
Should be interesting.
Ricky Ricketts. So, yeah, looking forward to that one. Hopefully, Paul won't bring his A game, and hopefully, Ricky won't be contending. We'll see. But, yeah. I
think that Ricky plays off 28 or something.
Is it? Okay, no, that's good. It's not a 38 though, so I'm happy with that.
Well, it could be 38. I could be wrong. But that is what the field looks like so far. The player pack will go out tomorrow, hopefully. We're just waiting for the handicaps to come in. The 10th tee is coming soon. There's a couple of single games up front. So I've now filled this one just before I went on. Another, what's his name? Wayne McMillan entered. So we've now got 2 spots left. And I know that Jaco Jacobs should be back from his trip. So he'll take one of them. So then we will have 1 spot left. I don't think we're going to have problems with sunlight because we're not 88. We are closer to the 72 mark. So we should get in no problem.
Mez, can we do a flyover of hole number
Yes, Roy.
5? Hole number 5.
Hold on. First I have to
Just
do
to
this.
show the guys that there's was a change done last year to the hole for the guys that hasn't played there recently.
Well, I hope this flyover is correct. I need to change our imagery here so that this fits. Hi. Hole number 5.
And remember, there's lesser trees as well because of all the storms.
Let's see if this goes. Here's hole number 5. Play, guy. Here's hole number 5. Hold on, it started halfway through. Let's see if I can take it back to the beginning. Ready? Par 4. Boom. Next to the road. What did they change?
Well, just before the green, they've built a little sloot there now. So especially for the elderly people there that play quite a lot, that can't bump and run it into the green anymore.
I see. You're right. So this is old. Just in front there. I'm throwing my cursor over it so the guys here can see, but you guys at home won't see. Yes, that is a good one. And it's the last time I was there, it was quite wet around that area. Yeah. Any other holes? Give me holes. Go, go, go.
Well, ultimately, thinking the stroke 1.
16th.
Okay, let me go. 16, 16, 16, 16. Running down my list of everything. Here we go. 16. Stroke 3, if it's still a stroke 3. Which one is this now? This is the one down the hill?
Yeah, and that's just after the stroke 1. That's past Key West, so that one is going back down again. The thing is with this hole, you actually is one of those clever ones where you actually, if you miss the fairway left, you actually done good, because if you're going to hit the fairway on the right hand side, you've got that nice little tree blocking your view to the green.
Yes, now in vision.
Correct.
Yes, that tree always gets in my way, so I need to hook pull it and go left. Donnie, give me a hole.
I can't remember which is that par 3 that's Fricky, where we had that we played there. Yeah.
14.
14. There we go.
Oh, okay. There we are.
No, I think it's also
check out the Ross.
No, I think this is also it's a little bit of an uphill par 3 if I remember correctly. Not a lot, but that green is tiny to hit, and it's like sort of a difficult tee shot that you have in there. And I know that green is hard to read as well. It's got some interesting.
Daai dam lyk bietjie droog, hoor.
It's just reflections. Okay, this is, I think, one of the closest to the pins. Gerald said 17. So I'll show you 17. Here we go. 17 is that one that goes left. This is a tough one if you've got a... Because you have to be on the right side of the fairway. If you're not on the right side of the fairway, you're pretty much blocked out because you have to go far enough to get it around the corner. And it's tight off the tee box, right?
Yeah. And if you have a massive fade, then this becomes a par 5 for you.
So there it is.
Ask Fricky. I would know.
Yeah. I remember this hole quite well because 2 years ago in the Thursday series, all I needed to do was make a 4 here, and I pretty much secured the victory of the tournament, which I did not do because I duffed the chip up front, and then I ended up tying with Randall, and he won it on a count back. Yay me. And it was only on -1. So I'm looking forward to it because I kind of can't play well yet. 10th hole, Ian. Here you go. Ooh, this one's in a rush. I'm gonna have to play this one again. Okay, 10th hole. Just trying to think now. Oh yeah, that's a tight little par 4.
Yeah.
There you go. So you kind of need to get it past the trees here and then past the bunker or towards the bunker. Then you don't have much left in. 120 left, 110 left. And then you can hit it onto the green, avoid the bunker in front. Last time we played the greens were pretty fast, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember the one year where that greens was so soft in the sense of when you hit your second shots on the green, no spin, but it was so fast. I think that's the one that Randall won. But yeah, still fast greens. Yeah, looking forward to it.
When Fricky still played the Thursday League, their featured par 3 is this one with the dam on the right.
Yeah.
is always fun. Nice hole. This is also close to the pin. Let's not forget. So that's for you, Paul. Green is about a 10. Oh, is it? Thank you. If that's the stump. Green is about a 10. Okay. Before we move on, I want to speak about fairway. So that's the hole. So if you want to see another one, but we are kind of running out of time, I want to just spend 2 or 3 minutes. Let's just make me bigger. Boom. There we go. We've been covering the top 10s of stuff in South Africa. What did we do last time? Putting greens. And then we had halfway houses. So now I'm going to do fairways. I don't know how they judge this, but I did find some interesting ones on how they do the fairways. Top 10 fairways in South Africa. Gowrie Farm, who would have thought? I've never played there, so that must be unbelievable fairways. Firethorn, number 2. Yes, they do really have carpets in summer. Bryanston, Leopard Creek, surprisingly, they're number 1 in the country, but not in fairways. Vancourt Montague, Gary Player Country Club, CCJ Woodmead, Vancourt Links, Mount Edgecombe Lakes, and Zimbali. What do you think, gents?
Masa, I would have loved to see Highland Gate there because I mean,
I'm
that's
thinking
always
the same,
pretty
yeah.
awesome.
It's not far out of this. I think it's in the next 5.
Yeah, and then the other one is Pearl Valley. I mean, yes, like that
Also.
fairways was pretty awesome. So I've played these courses except for Gowrie and Leopard Creek. Yeah, further and the links obviously, but yeah, so it's good. But I mean, I would have put Pearl Valley at least in the top 5 there, definitely.
Ian says he's playing Firethorn on Friday, so keep us posted how it is. But Firethorn really can have nice greens for nice fairways. But I'm gonna break it down to the top 20 in Gauteng. Right, so Firethorn would obviously be number 1, Bryanston number 2, Wingate Park number 3. I don't know if I agree so much with that one. Wood Hill, yes, very nice fairways. Number 4, Glendower could have probably been number 3 in my opinion. Copperleaf, Royal East, Pretoria Country Club, Parkview, Royal Joburg West. Interesting.
Yeah, I definitely think that I agree with you, Maz. I think Wingate, in winter does get a bit dry, and hard. So I don't think all year round it's like in
let's assume this is
condition.
Let's assume this is summer.
Yeah. I think it's a good list there. I just think the odd one out is Wingate. I think.
Albert's very funny. They're missing observatory. River Club tops all of them, but I don't see River Club in any of the ratings, so it probably doesn't go towards it. Number 11, Waterkloof. 12, Houghton. Houghton's also can be very good. Rocklands, Bushwillow. Maybe Bushwillow's a bit high. Eagle Canyon, yeah, maybe. Ramsig. Killarney should be much higher. Blair Athol, only 18. I don't know why. Dainfur, 19, and Centurion, 20.
And I don't see Steyn City as well. I mean, that had pretty proper fairways last time I played there.
Did you not see Steyn City? Or did I leave it out? No, maybe. Well, there we go.
I imagine that the shaping and the size and how they cut the fairways to accentuate the certain holes in terms of the angle you get hit into the green and fairway bunkers and stuff like that also come into that rating. So we can't just think what are the prettiest fairways that we like to hit off. There's a bit more to it than that.
Yeah, I do think Dills also is like where you said that now. I think it's like if you look at how they design the first cut rough, the second cut rough, it's like also that like how it flows, and also it's like how wide your landing area is for each type of golfer, to make it playable. So I think there's a lot, like you said, there's a lot more to it than just, oh wait, there's a nice piece of grass where the ball's lying.
Yeah, exactly right, man.
Yeah,
exactly.
And
right.
a lot of fairways look nice from like when you're looking at them, lush and like a carpet, but when you're actually standing over them, they can have a bit patchy. Eddie Ivan says Jackal Creek was good, so it would be interesting to see in the new rankings what Jackal Creek will be like, if it will be up there. I don't even think it's, I think it's unlisted currently, so that needs to be looked at. But again, like we always say, the people who are ranking them, we take this as the official because they're the only official people. It was the Golf Digest guys, but you take it with a pinch of salt, and it's something for us to talk about. Gentlemen, I just quickly running through my stuff. Is there anything I've left out? Oh, yeah, Hansi. Yeah. Sorry, you sent me this. I might as well use it. You had a rule question. Here it is. Ready? Boom. Oh, goodness, the thing moved. Sorry, that's not it. Here it is. Hansi's rule question. Dil, Donnie, Frikkie. Here you go. You can read it out, Hansi.
Yeah, so basically it was a situation that happened. You hit your approach shot and you land up in the greenside bunker. And then you hit your approach shot. And with your approach shot, the ball is embedded underneath the grass, but technically you're still inside the bunker.
Mm-hmm.
Do you take the ball as unplayable, or do you try and hit it out? And if you take unplayable, it's only the one-shot penalty, because you're inside the bunkers. You can't drop it outside the bunker, closer to the green.
So what's the rule?
So yeah, now what is the rule?
Yeah, I think you play as it lies. So,
but it is embedded, isn't it?
Yeah, if it's embedded in between the grass and the sand, and you technically can't, you need to dig it out if it's so far in.
So it's all about determining the boundary of the bunker. So the boundary, the lip, the grass lip forms part of the bunker. So if it's in the lip, then it's deemed to still be in the bunker. Then you get no relief for an embedded ball. So you have to play it, or you have to take an unplayable. Remember, if you take an unplayable, you're still in the hazard. So you have to drop that still in the hazard. You can't take an unplayable back on the line out of the bunker. But if you deem that is outside the boundary of the bunker, then it's on what you call through the green, which is the rough fairway, whatever the case may be, of the golf course. So if you deem that it's now not in the bunker, it's in the grass that is above the bunker, it doesn't form part of the lip, then it's an embedded ball and it's a free drop.
To answer your question?
Yeah, no, that's cool.
The question I have for you is, what did you do? Did you just take a free drop?
No, well, it wasn't me. It was one of the guys that played with me, and then they just ended up bombing the hole in any case, so it didn't affect it. So
just don't play with me, because you would have played it as it lies, eh?
The one thing I quickly want to remind you before I say goodbye is that, gentlemen, especially the Duckhook guys, a lot of the guys are social golfers, and they might not know the rule. So if you're not sure, just ask. And if somebody comes to you, this happened to me, Wanderers, one guy I was playing with, he hit a freshie in the bunker, right? Like full on, sand everywhere, the ball didn't move, totally missed it. And then when he added up, he wasn't aware that he had to count that shot. And I was like, no, pal, you got to count it. But what I had said to him is, so I educated him and I said, the reason we're saying this to you now is because you might be playing in some other competition and you might be playing with an absolute dickhead, and he might just lambaste you because he thinks you're cheating, which is not the case. You might just not know. So if you see someone, just educate them and say, this is what the rule is. There and then, don't come to me afterwards and say, oh, this guy did this, because it's not going to help anything. Educate them on the spot and say, this is what it is, so on and so on. Sometimes I got the question also at the Wanderers, is this ball lying on a root? But it was around the tree was sand. It was just sand, there was no roots. So I said, you got to hit it. That's the way it is. I know that you like your T100s, but if you want to move it off what it is, then, and there wasn't really rocks or stones, you got to play it as it is. There is no roots. So yes,
yeah,
I'm right.
But Maz, just the one thing that I just want to share as well is that, let's say for instance, all four guys in the four ball doesn't know a rule, and there is a dispute. What I got taught, it's like when I was at a golfing academy, is you play the original ball, that's ball A, you take another ball with supposedly free relief, and that's ball B, you play both, and when you get back to the clubhouse, you go straight to the pro shop or somebody that that knows rules quite well, and then you explain the situation, and you've got both scores there, and then that official will tell you, listen, ball A was supposed to be the ball in play, and then you can take that one and use that score. And so for me, just for the Ducks out there, that is the case, I would say. It's like, if nobody knows it, just play two balls and with the rule that you think it is, and the proper one.
Exactly what Vickers Albert says, play two balls. All I'm going to say is I hope you're not leading and you win the tournament, and then, or you're second. Right, you get in, everybody's like, and then live scoring, and then you ask the thing, and then it's not the thing, and then it changes, and then it's not the winner, and then we all boo, and then, you know what I mean.
But to be fair, Maz, if you do it that way, at least you only get the one-stroke penalty. You still finish third, rather than being disqualified and you get 0 points.
Well, we've never had to disqualify anyone.
Sorry, Maz, but also what I would suggest all the guys, everybody's got a smartphone. There's an app that you can download, which is the Rules of Golf. I would suggest everybody get that as well. So if you do need to browse quick, you've got it on the app and you can check.
Leon says, to finish off, Leon, you have the honor. He says, it would be cool if we had a rules masterclass in one of the shows. We did something similar a while ago. There's just so many rules to cover. We'd really have to bring them all together, because there's always a rule that you don't think of that now comes up, like the Hansi one, into the face. Everybody, thanks for joining us. Dylan, much appreciated. Yes. We're actually saying that if we could do a little setup there, we could do coaching, live stream coaching one day. So maybe we'll have a look at that. Frikkie, thank you very much. See you at Krugersdorp. Dani, Krugersdorp. Auntie, thanks for joining us with your insight.
Pleasure, man.
Krugersdorp. And then once again, if you jumped on late, the show was, Frikkie, you need to say something. The show was dedicated to Dean Sherman, and we will share a link of his memorial, which is happening on Saturday.
Yes. Saturday?
It's on YouTube, so if you want to be part of his memorial.
Correct, yeah. So also there's the memorials at the Candlewoods Chapel in Pretoria. Just contact me if you guys want to go there. I just need to give the numbers through to the guys. Otherwise, the link will be posted on Facebook.
And it's at 10?
11.
11.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. We've been over an hour. Amazing. Have a nice evening. See you on Sunday.
Cheers, cheers.
Cheers, cheers.
Dean, well done. How do you feel, matey?
All right, I'm relieved. I probably hit the ball the worst of everybody today, so I was very lucky. Very few putts.
Major champion.
Yes, I can't win anything else, so I'm going to win the major. Yeah, I'm very relieved. I haven't really come close to winning any tournament, let alone a major, so it was quite an experience to get through. Long slog in the day, so very happy. Quite fun. I think it's best not to play the course, and you don't know where all the crap is. And you hit the places where it's actually got good.
You want me to speak this time?
You go, Kazi.
Okay.